So delighted to be joined today by Finlay Christie. Finlay, so how are you?
I'm good, I'm well, thanks for having
Cool.
me.
No, lovely for you to be here. Tell me listen, I'm an old man, tell me about comedy and social media and the integration of the two and how that works in your life.
Oh, well, I think social media being integrated with comedy is great because it opens up the amount of people who can make it, and it doesn't mean, it means you bypass the gatekeepers and stuff of comedy, but lots of old school comedians would disagree with me. They say you've got to earn your stripes doing shitty gigs in Bognor Regis.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword, really. Some people, think, oh, it's great, opens doors for people. Then I've been in so many green rooms where, the people who do live at the Apollo and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, but these young kids, they don't know what it's like. They know what it's like staying in hotels and using those little kettles and eating the free Biscoff biscuit.
And did you treat that with school? Is that whatever? We moved at different times.
Yeah, I mean, I do both.
Yeah.
I eat the Biscoff biscuit. I fill the kettle from the tap that's too close to the sink. But yeah, I mean, they're both as bad as each other. The old school route and the new school route are both. One of them, you feel like you're trying to please these imaginary algorithm gods.
Yeah.
You don't know what they want. You're just constantly sacrificing yourself and trying to please them. And then when you do please them, it's like
they've moved on.
It's a what's the word? Hollow victory.
Yeah.
But then the old school circuit is like, I've slept in train stations before.
Yeah, nice.
So.
But then, how do you adapt to? Do you prefer talking to a camera or do you prefer talking to humans?
I mean, this is really the best of both worlds. At the moment, I'm doing both.
Yeah.
I would say probably.
And maybe do you have to adapt what you're saying, your comedy, to the different lives?
Definitely, talking to humans is you feel the real response. You feel like a real connection.
Yeah.
Whereas talking to a camera, can be lonely, but also there's more freedom when you talk to a camera. You don't have to, you're not doing everything based on just what you think they will laugh at.
Yeah.
Sometimes when doing stand up, you're bound by everything needs to have a punchline.
So do you okay, so is then comedy something that's naturally ingrained in you, or do you work at it? And I appreciate you work at it, but is it a natural born talent, or is it something that you can set out and do?
I think it's something you can set out and do, but a lot of comedians would disagree. I'm not. Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I feel like a lot of comedians, the way they talk about comedy is quite snobbish, and you just have to be born with it, and you have to have some kind of trauma. Jimmy Carr has this thing where he's like, when I meet a comedian, the first thing I ask them is who in your family was sick. I think you have to have some kind of trauma. I think if you love comedy, you can learn it the same way you can learn any other skill.
So when you're watching another comedian, do you always just appreciate what they're doing, or do you just immerse yourself in just they're funny and I'm going to laugh a lot, or is it like I can learn from this?
I think if what they're doing is quite formulaic in terms of the writing, and I can see the writing behind it and how they crafted it, then I stop enjoying it.
Okay, interesting.
It's like when I've hung out with architects before, and they get annoyed at buildings, and they're like, why is there so many different types of chairs in this in this office?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. You sort of you get frustrated because you can see the scaffolding and stuff, the jokes. But a lot of comedians have soft spots for comedians who are really odd and strange.
Yeah.
And the writing sort of makes no sense. Lots of anti-jokes and stuff. Because it's subverting all the things that we're taught.
How you should be.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about you? Oh, sorry, am I allowed to ask you as well?
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting for us because obviously we get to see loads of comedians and we also get to see speakers speaking at events.
Yeah.
And you have this weird thing of you get to meet the most incredible people and listen to the most incredible people. At the same time, you're like, but how will this work in this event? Or what do they really say? And then you're sitting with your friend and you're talking about what you did that week, and you're like, yeah, so I met this person, that person, the other person, and this person came and spoke to me, and I critiqued their story. And they're like, that's the most incredible thing. And you're like, yeah, but this is what I do. And you realise you lose a sense of enjoyment a little bit over what you're doing, so you kind of have to pinch yourself over where you're going. So it's kind of nice, weirdly. When we see someone starting their speaking journey or their comedy story, and they're not as polished to give us that sense check over we are seeing the creme.
Yeah.
and these people get there because they've got something there, but they need to work on it. But it is amazing when you meet these people. You're like, you've climbed 7 mountains, so what? I just met someone who climbed 10 mountains, and you're like, it's just not how real life is or anything like that.
Yeah, some comedians still say, I sort of had a conversation with 2 comedians once where one of them said, "So how long have you been going?"
Yeah.
The guy said 12 years, and the guy went, "Oh, so you're new," and he meant it.
It's really, really odd, and it kind of I think it's the same in. There's an element to me whereby, talking about like the freshness of kind of, I start talking to you about comedy and social media and where we are, and that's almost the freshness of youth and this new age, and then you've got people who've been working here forever, and we kind of both experience and freshness are both good. Whereas actually, it's very black and white. You've either been in a business forever and you know everything, or you've just started fresh. But actually, I can learn from you and you can learn from me. So let's not slag each other off.
Absolutely.
Anyway. All right. So tell me about corporate audiences.
Oh.
Tell me about the corporate world and how you adjust yourself and kind of what you feel kind of the pleasure is of doing that.
When it comes to an audience who haven't all necessarily come to see you,
yes,
there's different challenges.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, making it about them a bit more.
Okay.
So I like to ask about, who's in charge and what the dynamic is, who people like to make fun of, and all of this stuff. I did a corporate once where there was it was my first corporate. Yeah. And there was the boss that really took himself seriously. Yeah. And who everyone was really scared of. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna completely disrespect him the whole set. I was kicking stuff off the stage and being like, "You get that for me?" Like, it's just really laying into him, and people, people
and how was he about it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, he was loving it. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's kind of, if you take the time to get in touch with the client, then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, what's next for you? What are you up to this at the moment?
Lots of different stuff. Yeah. I'm a YouTuber as well, so I'm doing lots of things. Uploaded a sketch this morning. It was a little film parody thing, and then I'm filming this afternoon, like a Man on the Street series I do with my friend Mamoon, where we ask black and white people different questions.
Good stuff.
Gigging every night. Yeah. I've got a corporate this Friday. It's an event for events people. Okay. Oh, so you're in the firing line there. Well, I just hope it's good because it should be. Yes. It's the award for events. Oh, it's the award. It's events for events. Events for events. It's an event for events. Brilliant. Yeah. So that will be fun. That'll be different. Brilliant. Listen, Philly. And it'll be money anyway. So. Lovely. Thanks so much, Philly. It's been great speaking to you. Thanks so much. Cheers. Thanks so much for having me.